Conversion Podcast, the official Banbridge Rugby Club podcast. We are here to share the stories, memories, and people who've made this club what it is today. I'm Tori, one of the players for the first women's 15, and our second episode we're going to be kicking off with Louise and Bronte. So we'll start off, before we get into any of this Centenary stuff ourselves, I'd love to start with each of you and how you got involved with the club. So Louise, if you want to go first there.
Yeah, so my daughter Charlotte played when she was 10, and there was an advert put out on the club app for a media marketing volunteer. So I decided, why not? Something I can do to help. And came down, met the team, and the rest, they say, is history. I'm now the marketing convener and help Gareth on the fundraising committee too, and events and things like that. So
you're a busy woman around the club nowadays. You're at every event that we see anyway. And Bronte, what about yourself? How did you get involved?
Yeah, I probably played most of my rugby 6 miles down the road for Dromore, but did play here. Bit under 18, bit under 20 stuff when leaving school. Then was up by Tottenham, Belfast for a wee while, and it was when I moved home to get a job in Dromore High School. Daniel Soper, who was the coach at the time, I was moving back up here, and he said would I come in and help coach the second 15, so did that. It was about 15 or 16 years ago, and I've been involved ever since, helping with seconds and firsts and manager and all sorts of different roles, and sort of looking after fundraising, and then sort of chairing our Centenary sort of group as well this year. So yeah, busy.
Busy enough yourself then. You've been through the phases with it there, with the seconds, and now I see that you're helping out a lot more with the firsts. Move on here to the Centenary bit. So tell us a bit about your roles within the club, and then how you've become involved with planning for 2026.
Yeah, so as marketing convener, I'm basically in charge of all our social media platforms, so all the promotional material for our 100-year celebration. It is a mammoth task between myself and volunteers and Gareth's help too, you know. So it's like a year-long story for us. We're celebrating the past, but we're also trying to show everyone that we have a future here at Banbridge Rugby Club, and we want to reach everyone, you know, players, supporters, and people just in the community too. As well as keeping the general flow of content for the season too, you know, player of the match and fixtures and everything else that goes along with that too.
So actually probably the planning for it probably started, I don't know exactly when, but it must have been around 2024. Mark and I first discussed it. I was sort of I still am first 15 manager, and we were talking about it, and we need to do it right. So we got our sort of thinking caps on and what could it look like. And I sort of went scrolling the internet and maybe steal a few ideas, and sort of come up with the idea that, yeah, we wanted to do it for a full year. We wanted to celebrate something each month. We didn't want it to be at all about fundraising and things like that. We wanted to celebrate stuff. We wanted to give a wee bit back to the community. We probably went, because our first game, when we looked back through the records and stuff, the first game was played on the 2nd of January 1926. So it made sense to really run it on a calendar year. A lot of rugby clubs out there sort of celebrate their first season really going from September to June. But for us, seeing as we played our first sort of unofficial game on the 2nd of January, it made sense to celebrate it in a calendar year. And it meant we got it over 2 seasons, and we're probably getting 2 years of celebrating out of 1, so it's a good excuse.
That is a good excuse. I'd agree with you there. So one of you sort of deals with the marketing side of things, and the other is more fundraising. I've got a few questions for each. Do not be daunted by it at all. It's not that scary. So from a marketing perspective, Louise, how do you begin planning something as big as a 100-year celebration?
Who knows where it started? Gareth came with a list of events that we were going to run for the whole season, and we've just went from there. You know, the main stuff that goes out through the year remains the same, but you know, organising ticket sales and, you know, promotional material for each event that Gareth had planned, it is a real team effort, you know. So yeah, if I didn't have the people to help me, you know, it would never happen.
Yeah, it'd be a bigger task than what it is at the moment.
Yeah,
anyway,
definitely.
Gareth, as head of fundraising for the Centenary, what does that role actually involve?
Yeah, look, a big part of it was, suppose, because we can do so many events during the year and people are kind of focused on that year, it was a good opportunity to raise some money, especially with the new build going to be sort of open during this season and the need for funds for it, but then for stage 2, for stage 3 of the build. So we wanted to incorporate that into the Centenary year, really. So the first one really was our new Centenary wall that thankfully has opened at the start of the year there, and all the tiles that were sold. So we started that again probably at near the beginning of 2025 to try and sell those tiles and coming up with that idea so that we had that ready for the beginning of the Centenary year. And I think it looks a really good piece in the hall and something. And like we raised over £70,000 that helped finish off the new build with that. And really then the year we were trying to filter in, you know, at the start of the year we wanted to celebrate that first game, so we reenacted that against Newry, and there'll be events throughout the year, but targeting a few big fundraising ones with our big dinner that'll be in June, and events happening during the summer. I'm sure we'll talk about these later, but really targeting some of those fundraising ones, but then a big emphasis on not always fundraising. You know, we wanted to celebrate, and it needs to be for the whole club. You know, the whole club's 100. It's not just the first 15. It's the seconds right down to the fifths, to the women's team, to the minis, to the youth, to the mixed ability, and everybody. So we want everybody to be able to celebrate.
Yeah, I think it does get a wee bit sickening sometimes if it's fundraising, but you've done well, or there's a good mix of events in there throughout the year. What event are you most excited for?
I really wanted to play. I haven't played in a number of years, so one of the ones I was really looking forward to was that reenactment on the 2nd of January. So thankfully lost a wee bit of weight and was able to not disgrace myself out in the pitch, which was all right. And my son got to see me play rugby for once, so that was good. So I was looking forward to that. And then really the two big ones, the Andy Farrell dinner in June, and we sat with the Centenary group and we sort of came up with a wee bit of a short list of who we wanted. And the club have run some brilliant events over the last 10 years with Paul O'Connell, with Rory Best, doing events. And we came with that list, and the name at the top of our list at that stage was Andy Farrell. He had been so successful with the Irish team. He'd got the British and Irish Lions gig, and this was just pre the summer. And thanks to help from Rory Best and from David Humphreys, we managed to get Andy Farrell confirmed. And we were just really hoping the Lions series would go well and they would get a win. Not that he would have been a damn squid if they hadn't, but all of a sudden now we were able to announce it in September. We had a Grand Slam winning Ireland coach and a Lions series winning coach. So that'll be a massive night for the club. It'll be really special to have him along. And then our big fixture in August, at the beginning of next year's pre-season, we have the Barbarians coming over to play us out at Rifle Park, which will be a really, really special day. There's not many clubs can say they've played, our teams can say they've played the Barbarians, let alone a wee club from County Down. But thankfully, again, through the connections through Donal O'Shaughnessy, who was our club doctor for so many years, and through Rory in the committee, we'll have the Barbarians coming over in August, which will be a really special event for the club.
Absolutely. There's some great events booked there. I'm excited for the Andy Farrell one myself. Hopefully we get sitting beside him. If you can arrange that for us, that would be fantastic.
Those tickets are extra money to sit beside Andy Farrell, but you can pay, yeah.
Private meet and greet, no problem.
Great, yes. That's exactly what I'm looking. No, definitely some fantastic events on the horizon there. Back to you, Louise. What are the key messages that you want people to associate with Banbridge Rugby Club during this centenary year?
Well, social media wise, especially, we're #Club for All, you know, and I do really think we are, as much as we possibly can be, a club for all. So I suppose community is a big thing. It really is a club for everyone, you know, no matter what you do or who you are, you can come here and there's something for you to do. We always have a job. No matter if you can play rugby, you want to just come and try it out, like, it's no problem. If you want to just come and support, you're always welcome. The player pathway is something that we really should shout about, for the Centenary year, where we have from minis right up to senior rugby a full pathway for boys and girls now from under 10, which is amazing. And then also our mixability team, we probably don't shout about them enough. They're absolutely amazing. They're probably, I'm not going to say it maybe too loud, but the best team in the club. And just having inclusion in our club and trying to shout about all the things that sometimes we forget about. We can shout about events, and we can, especially the volunteers, trying to, really emphasize the people behind our club. This place wouldn't run without the people sitting on committees, the parents bringing their minis here. Anybody who comes here and helps out and pitches in even once, you've supported our club.
Yeah, no, the Club for All, the message that we send, we are really living by it. It's not that we say we're a Club for All and then have one women's team, or we are really showing that with everything that we do, whether it be the events or the teams that we host, which is great. There was something there that you said about community, and I do have a question for that. So I'm going to ask both of you this, because it wasn't one that I listed to you. So how important is community support whenever it comes to making these like fundraising goals in this club a reality?
Yeah, look, our sponsors are a massive part of the club, and without them, it wouldn't be anywhere near as successful and as well funded and as prosperous as it is. You just have to look. Getting a ticket to a pre-match lunch in here now is like getting a hen's teeth. It's probably easier to get a ticket to Ireland, Scotland next weekend, because they're sold out. And we've so many good sponsors, and just a big thank you to them and the local community. You just have to watch the sidelines on Saturdays. There's people coming down, getting behind the club and offering their support. So to be able to celebrate that and give back a wee bit to the community, some of the events that we're doing, it's not just all fundraising or not all celebration or events here in the club or parties. In April here now, we'll be doing, we're going to try and lift 100 bags of rubbish during the month. So we're going to be going out. Hopefully, we're looking club volunteers to come forward and target our local towns. Your Rathfrilands, your Scarva, your Brickland, your Donaghcloney's, where so many of our members are from, and you just have to look round the place and they're litter. So we're going to go out. The target is to lift 100 bags, seeing as we're 100 years old, and we're going to lift some rubbish around the local area. And then our sponsors, there's going to be a day at the end of the year, we're going to have a sponsors day where our sponsors, rather than having to pay to come to the pre-match, they're going to get a couple of tickets free to come to our pre-match, and just as a thank you to them for all the support, not they've given us this year or the last year, but through the whole lifespan of the club, just to say thank you to them, because without them we definitely wouldn't be where we are.
No, definitely not. No, I love that, the 100 bags for 100 years. It's fantastic, and it is giving back what, it might be a little bit, but it's giving back to our community. For the local businesses that might be listening today, what opportunities are there to get involved as a sponsor or partners?
Yeah, we're always looking for sponsors, match ball sponsors, lunch sponsors. We'll be coming into the new season. The Barbarians Day will be a particularly big one, and yeah, we'll have a big marquee going up in the car park that week. There'll be a whole week of events, but the Barbarians Day will be big, so there'll be a big lunch, and there'll be loads of opportunities to sponsor different things throughout the end and throughout the whole year. Yeah, this season's nearly done, but we'll be looking again next year, and the minis are looking new sponsors for shirts, and there's always different things and ways they can help.
You only have to look around the sides of our pitch to see the support that we have from the local community too. You look at all those pitch side signs that we have, and like people renew them year after year with no thought as to, if it benefits them in any way. They do it just to support our club, which is amazing, and we do really thank those people who will step up and support us in that way.
Fantastic. There is a lot of support that we already have, and a lot of support to come, hopefully. Keep an eye on that. For yourself then, Louise, there's been new branding this year. We've seen some of it
Yes.
behind us here. So we've seen the new branding elements and visual themes that you have on socials and then the kit shop. How do you go about creating these?
Big questions.
Was there any thought process behind it?
So much thought process behind it. We actually had a logo designed for the centenary year to sort of incorporate us as a club being authentically Banbridge. Like, we obviously didn't want to change our logo in any way, but add to it for the next 100 years. So we had that designed. It's modern, not what our norm would have been. And I suppose it works well now against kit, merch and social media and all the sort of branding you'll see around the club. I'm forever putting a poster up, I'm sure you can imagine. But like for socials, I create all the content myself. So all the graphic content's all designed, and then the team can easily edit what goes on there. So over the summer, that's generally what happens. I'll have everything planned and ready to go. Scorecards, player of the match things, everything. So once the new logo arrived, we were able to, everything got a full refresh, and I think so far it's been working pretty well, and I think we get as much information as we can over in that way.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, so like I love the jerseys. You know, we brought in the old school sort of white collar into them that the first 15 and second 15 are wearing, and that day we celebrated our centenary when we probably played our first official game at the end of January. We played Ballymena that day, and we played in our sponsors were very accommodating, and no sponsors were on the kit that day. It was the jersey was just like it was, hopefully way back when we started. So it was pretty cool, and actually then our supporters centenary jerseys, the old school retro jerseys that we've brought out, are really different. Long sleeve, the proper old school jerseys. Still some more of those available. We will be pushing those again. So we're seeing more and more of them popping up, and people are wearing them down to the club. So there's still a few that were limited to only 100 of those. So there's a few of them left, and we'll probably be releasing them again here during the summer. People still have a chance to buy those, Tori. So
Happy days. I
yeah,
like one
watch
for
out for
myself.
that and get your centenary jersey.
Perfect. No, the jerseys look class. I love that sort of salute to the old days. I'll definitely be getting one myself in the next release, hopefully. What inspired you personally to take on a fundraising side of this big milestone?
I don't know if I was inspired to do it or my arm was twisted to do it, so I was sort of strong armed into it. I'll never shy away from a challenge, and yeah, look, it was something that Mark, Edie, and I had talked about, that it's really something we need to celebrate well and do it right, because it'll always be remembered in the club. And you know, what did we get up to this year? Now, a big part of that was hopefully being success on the pitch. Aspects of the club have been really successful, and the thirds have been great. The mixed ability have been doing really well. The youth and all, the under 16s are flying this year.
Yeah.
And the boys and the minis is flying. So that aspect of it, the pitch side of it, like, that was always going to take care of itself. But we wanted to be a year to remember for the club. You know, and if we can fundraise and get enough money to put, you know, the new changing room opening for the start of the centenary was massive, and it's particularly for the gym for all the teams. The gym's been really good. The new changing rooms, you know, and having them, the first 15 changing room really kitted out well, and those other changing rooms was a big bit of sponsorship that we were hoping to try and raise, and we've just sort of hit that target, and to have those in good condition for not just the other male teams and the youth teams, but the women's team as well, to have a good changing room for them. But then if we can raise enough to do the next phase then, and do this, the room we're sitting in, to make it bigger, so that those pre-match function rooms that are sold out, make them even bigger and sold out, and that can only breed more money into the club and make it better and make it more useful for the local community. I know this gets used by bridge club, by motor vehicle clubs, by people doing Pilates. You know, a bigger, better space in here makes it more useful for the community, and just the club will be better overall. So to raise some money definitely to make the club a better place, but to really celebrate the year in a good way, not just focusing on the money, not just focusing on the pitch, but a whole round, a club for all, really.
Exactly. No, it sounds good. So 2026, as it stands, is the biggest year in the club's history, other than the year it obviously started. Let's talk about what everyone's wanting to hear here. So, what is actually happening in 26? I know you've mentioned a few big events there, but give us a rundown of everything.
Right, off the top of my head, let's go. Well, we January was really good. We had our first game on the 2nd of January against Newry. We were to have our Centenary weekend. Unfortunately, that was curtailed a wee bit. The Friday with that bad weather that happened in January, the Banbridge Academy Old Boys versus the club select team didn't happen. That was really the wee bit of acknowledgement to the fact that the club was really formed mainly by Banbridge Academy former pupils. Now, we plan to hold that later on here, maybe end of March, beginning of April. So watch this space for that game. It was definitely there was a bit of traction building for that game. It means I'm going to have to try and stay slightly fit for a wee while longer so I can play in that
Play
one.
Again.
But we did have the men's game with those special jerseys and the women's game that day when we formally opened the new clubhouse, which was really good, and a lunch and the question and answer in here, which was really special. February we had a past captains and presidents lunch here and on the Saturday, which was really, really good. We've seen so many.
Amazing.
Yeah, we've seen so many faces that we normally see, but loads and loads that maybe haven't been about the club as much, and just reignited that wee sort of connection. And it was great to see the France-Italy game was on, and there was a good old-fashioned rugby sing-song in the bar and all afterwards.
I know, I was here for that. It was fantastic.
It was just so good to see everyone here, and it was so wholesome, you know, and everyone stayed and just had a few drinks, and you know, the singing was phenomenal. Shout out Kenny McElroy, you're unreal. But yeah, just to have those people back at the club all together in the same place was really, really special to see. And for me, being like a blow-in, I've never had that opportunity to see all those people together, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, so that was really good. March time here. We've in a couple of weeks' time here with Alistair Minnis, a member of the club and somebody who lives over in Scotland, but is coming over and doing a whiskey tasting night, which will be a lot of fun in here on a Friday evening. We're doing a sort of an Irish versus Scottish. Just a few days after this big Six Nations game, so it'll be interesting to see and learn the difference between those. So again, it's not a fundraising thing, it's just something which is a bit of fun and try and get some people down to. April then brings us into our litter, our 100 bags for 100 years, so really trying to get out there and give something back to the community, which will be a big one. And then May time is our 100 miles for 100 years. So it's a wee challenge to everybody in the club, whether you're 4 or 5 or you're slightly older than 4 or 5 like David Dodds or someone like that. And really, so trying to get everybody to cover 100 miles in the month of May. So you're talking about 3 miles a day, maybe 5k roughly. And we'll try and encourage people maybe to get some sponsorship forms out, and that'll be a real big push to try and raise some money for our 2 charities that we are supporting during the year. So we're supporting the Vora Hospice in Newry, and we're supporting the RFU Charitable Trust. So we'll be really young and old, and everybody in between to get out there, get walking. Quite nicely, I think May starts on a Friday night, so there'll be a bit of a plan to come down here to the club on the Friday night, and we'll get a bit of a walk up around possibly the boulevard and down, and maybe do a few burgers and stuff, and encourage everybody to do a bit of a 5k walk. And then May finishes on a Sunday, so it'll maybe be the same down here again. We'll maybe do something, hopefully if we can get blessed with a bit of weather. It would be nice, and we'll try and organise a few wee walks somewhere in between in May. So and then we have the Maris team as well coming over, so that'll be a brilliant event. The invitational, basically the Barbarians for the mixed ability rugby world are coming over to play a fixture against our guys, so that'll be a special event on then as well. So a great opportunity for the whole club to come out and support those guys. They've been really lucky. I think they were away. Was it Belgium? Belgium there they were a couple of weeks ago. We had, I think, with 4 representatives on that. So to be able to host a game like that, there'll be players coming from all around the world. So that'll be really cool to have that. That'll be the first time we've ever held that. So lovely to do that during our centenary. So June brings us into our big Andy Farrell Gala Ball, which will be great. And into July, we plan to do a bit of a family fun day. Can't say just too much about that. That's still in the working, but hopefully it'll be really special and something a wee bit cool. And there'll be some people that is particularly our younger supporters will be and players will be come down to see.
Keep an eye on social media.
Yes,
for
keep
more
an eye on
details.
social media for that one. We hope to have that one finalised pretty soon. August. Brings us into our big centenary week. So it'll start off with the Barbarians fixture on the Saturday. During the week, there'll be a big marquee up on the pitch, or in the car park. So there'll be a comedy night, there'll be a music night, and then hopefully the following weekend then will be a big centenary tournament. So we have some clubs coming from all over the place. Hopefully some coming from over from England. We've hopefully clubs coming up, hopefully Bantry Bay actually, that we sing about in our song. Bantry Bay actually are 100 as well in 2026. So they're hopefully bringing a team up to play. Another club who are 100 is Skerries, just outside Dublin. That's the interesting fact for tonight is Skerries are 100 and they also play in maroon, navy and yellow. The two clubs in Ireland play in maroon, navy and yellow, and both are 100 in the same year. So their Skerries are bringing a team up, Bantry Bay, and hopefully one from across the water. And then there'll be 4 teams out here, male teams and 4 female teams playing. So big day, marquee, bit of music, bit of fun, and that'll be really good. So that's into August, and then into September. Now you're really testing me. What all's coming out?
Minis?
Yes, we have a minis. Our Blue Sox will be going. Our touring team. Ably headed up by Freddie Kearns, will be heading off on their centenary Blue Sox tour, and then we have a big minis festival. So for local primary schools, so we're really trying to go after our local where our kids are coming from and have a big minis tournament here for them. October we're having a ladies' day. We do have ladies' days in the past, but I'm determined it's going to be a proper ladies' day because in the past our ladies' day still has our ladies' committee serving. And what I would really love is a ladies' day where it's men serving the food and properly because the ladies have played a massive role in this club, and our ladies' committee are the envy of every club in the country, and what they do, as well as our women's team. So to have a proper ladies' day would be really good, and let them celebrate. In November, we plan to have a sponsors day, like I said earlier, to try and give back to a few of those sponsors who we've had over the years. And then December time, I want to finish a wee bit back with the community again. So the plan is to try and get 100 hampers gathered that we can give out to the elderly and folk in maybe who are in a wee bit more need than some of us at Christmas time, and to help try and put together 100 hampers. And finish off with an old school Banbridge Rugby Club classic in the Christmas cracker here. So yeah, it'd be nice to finish the year off in style, have a great big party in here, and nothing better than an old school Christmas cracker. So all those folk out there, I can remember 20 years ago and this place be absolutely hiving for a Christmas cracker. It was brilliant. Like it was the night of the year. And it's still, and in recent years it's been really good, and it's really started to come back, and it would be class to finish off the year.
Do you know what date it's going to be? It's always a big question.
I don't. Yeah, it's always the year. Alec was the guy to talk. It's Greener's booked.
It's the Saturday before Christmas.
Saturday before
you should
Christmas.
know that.
Right, I do know that. Sorry. Greener's booked. And
Have you ordered extra Christmas trees?
Don't talk about the Christmas trees.
Don't talk about the Christmas trees. Yeah, some of the committee will be listening. Yeah, so that'll be Look, that's a brief run through. It's on a brilliant section on the website that Louise has put up there, and a great sort of calendar showing everything. And there's other wee bits and pieces that are happening throughout. Like, because we haven't really mentioned in some of those in those months stuff for our minis and things like that and our youth. And we're just really sort of planning those in. We're in good discussions with Skerries Rugby Club with the natural link there. Their youth and our minis, and their minis are going to play. They're going to come up to us. We're going to get the same teams down to them, which will be cool and a bit, not just their normal fixtures around Ulster, but we'll be able to do some stuff like that. So yeah, we want everybody in the club to feel involved in the celebrations throughout the year.
Love that. It's going to be a busy year.
Yeah, and it's only just starting March, like, so there's another 9 and a bit months to go here. So yeah, we're going to be busy.
6 months off after.
It already has been a busy season. There's been a lot of events that have already passed that have went down quite well. Before we finish, a quick look at what's happening around the club right now. So.
Yeah, we have 2 home All-Ireland League fixtures remaining, and be really great to get a massive support out and support the guys in that and really build into next season. Particularly last game of the season, 4th of April, I think that Easter weekend will be a really good one, and we'd love a massive support out there. The end of season high and a bit of a party in here afterwards is always good. And then the third 15 cup final. Down to the Affadea and then to the awards dinner that night. I know the ladies have your tour coming up, don't you, as well, in April?
Yes, we do have a tour coming up in mid-April. We're going over to Scotland.
That'll be the first time something like that's happened.
Yeah, so we're going to, I think it's a tens tournament over in Dumfries, so it's going to be an experience for the first time it's happening. Hopefully it can remain happening afterwards.
I'll be honest, maybe over the years, we've had a number of guys who maybe reach 100 All-Ireland League caps, finish their playing career with the first 15 and right off into the sunset. But under the stewardship of Stuart Crummy, it's been great to see 4 or 5 of those guys stay on and keep giving a wee bit of something back to the club, and bringing on some of the young guys. Young Noah Parks is playing that team. Thomas Williamson's been playing a lot during the season, and they've been really, really successful. And it's been a real breath of fresh air in there as well to see that. So yeah, they should win their league here now within the next few weeks, and then they'll have that cup final as well. So yeah, that'll be something to celebrate as well.
I just want to say that in between the filming of the last podcast and this podcast, Tori got her 50 caps for Banbridge Rugby Club, and we couldn't be more proud of you.
Heck of an achievement, well done.
For everything you do for everybody else. It's no better woman.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
I'm going to skip over that and close out for the day. So a massive thank you to all of our volunteers and sponsors who continue to support everything that we do, especially as we prepare for such a landmark year. Louise and Gareth, thank you for sharing your vision behind what promises to be an unforgettable year. As we move into 2026, this isn't just about looking back. It's about setting the tone for the next century for Banbridge Rugby Club.